we talk about creating conditions for people to thrive. And there are some things we can do. Maybe we could wrap up with just thinking together about what are the things that you do when you're working with a leader and supporting them to develop their energetic leadership. What are some of the things that leaders can do to create conditions for other people to
Mm,
thrive and lead holistically in their own organizations?
yeah. So let's go with the first one. One of the things that we do as coaches is we evoke awareness in others. We check in on how they're feeling. We check in on what they're sensing. So I think at a minimum, setting the conditions for leaders to lead energetically and to get more data includes this, like inviting leaders to sense the world beyond just thinking. We often hear each other say, Ryan, this is what I think. Let me think about it. Oh, give me some time to think that through for a bit. And sometimes even when we say, I feel this way, we're talking about our thoughts.
Hmm.
So accustomed to thinking.
Yeah.
So I think invite leaders into different ways of seeing and engaging with the world. And in so doing, they're increasing their capacity for being more holistic in their interactions and their engagements, and also increasing their capacity to get more data from the world around them, including the people that they lead, and not just data through their own listening and then interpretation of what they've heard. Just data by itself, people by themselves, what they're communicating. So I think that's a big part, and that's an ongoing process. That's the thing that I don't think one accomplishes that quickly and then you're done.
Mm.
Okay, now I'm a great listener. It's the thing I think we keep at. We keep practicing.
I don't know.
We keep at it. An important thing I found too, Donna, is in the energetic listening that I wrote about and the way that I think about it, the less we're holding ourselves, the more it increases our capacity to listen deeply to others, which means the more we accept ourselves, forgive ourselves, accept ourselves, love ourselves, the more this frees us up to be those things for other people. I think it's harder when we are judging ourselves and then we are trying to stand for someone else. I don't even know if that is even possible, genuinely possible. So acknowledge ourselves, love ourselves, accept ourselves. And then we go with such lightness when we are listening to and in service of others, because we've already served ourselves. So I think that's also very important in cultivating energetic leadership and energetic listening. It brings a lot more no chatting, no criticizing of yourselves, especially.
A lot more generosity to yourself and to the
Exactly.
folks that you
That's right.
lead. Yeah. And
Bringing
it's
more
int
generosity.
and it's interesting when you talk about the energy in a room or the energy between people, or that was such a great meeting. There was such energy in there. We
Yeah.
understand what it means when we experience it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And we might not be, to your point, we might not be able to say what we understand it to mean, but we know we're not just talking about the words that come out of someone's mouth. We're not just talking about the thoughts that there's, or even the thoughts we're thinking about them. We know we're talking a lot about how this person feels as a whole. How do I feel when I am in the presence of this person? And their presence is about the words they speak, the way they act, the way they stand and carry themselves, all of these things, the way they look, all of these that then adds up to make up a person's, whether we call it aura or energetic presence or their field or who they are, whatever we call it. So then, are we mindful about the energetic presence we are emitting when we show up with others? The things I talked about earlier, good ways to be mindful of that, make sure that we are clean with ourselves, we're forgiving ourselves, not judging ourselves, and we're engaging beyond just our mind and inviting the rest of us to attune to what is going on. And let's trust in that, trust in ourselves. So That's what's coming up. That's what's coming up in the moment.
It sounds we have these great place to work. It's a great place to work. And I think that's got a lot to do with how that space between and the energy between people.
Hmm.
And we have lots of ideas about how we can create these wonderful workplaces, but it comes right down to being aware and I love
Yes.
what you're saying, clean with yourself, having being aware of your own self and your own doing your own healing helps us to show up and love and care for the people that we work with too.
Yeah. And imagine a few of us in any workplace that's coming from this being and engaging this way, and then we create a culture. Eventually, we create a culture or add to the culture these ways of listening and engaging with others. And before you know it, your system has changed and your system is being more effective, more powerful, more inclusive, more productive, and more of what we want to see in the world. So the more we practice, we also invite others to practice and live out this way.
Well, Akasha, you have been practicing ever since I've met you, and you encourage me to practice. And together we're supporting each other, I think, in doing the work in the world that we're called to do. I appreciate you taking the time with me today and the ongoing connection that I know we'll have exploring this work. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been a delight. And thanks to all your listeners for listening to this Fire Chat experience.